All right, folks, welcome back to the Crisis Report. This is your alert for October 15th, 2025. We're going to be talking today about a bunch of stuff. A lot of things going on with the U.S. Treasury, things going on with Pakistan and Afghanistan, things going on with the NATO meeting and all of their components. We are brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. If you are possibly considering putting your 401k or your IRA into gold and silver, they do this for you. They hold on to your gold and silver, and then when you retire, you get it all shipped to you. Great way to do it. A lot of things going on in the metals market. If you'd like to find out more, check out the link in the description. All right, here we go. This is your Crisis Report alert for October 15th, 2025. Thanks for joining me on the earlier broadcast. Sorry it was not last night, but if you are missing that one was put out at about 7 a.m., so go check that back. It's got a much more expansive report. Pakistan reportedly launched massive airstrikes in Spin Boldak, Kandahar province, Afghanistan. Britain has lost control of its borders, according to UK Home Secretary. Top U.S. commander in the Mideast is calling on Hamas to stop shooting civilians. A lot of reports of that. I haven't gone real in-depth on it, but a lot of crazy stuff is still going on in Gaza. U.S. Treasury Chief says that Beijing's rare earths control is China versus the world. Outgoing Japanese Foreign Minister Takeshi Iwaya says the next prime minister must draw a line in the sand on, quote, right-wing populist xenophobia, end quote. Analysis by the person. They said that the liberal and centrist wings of the ruling LDP in Japan are not even hiding their contempt for the Japanese public anymore because, like many countries, the Japanese public and just regular publics of all the countries are becoming more nationalist in their scope due to a lot of problems going on with globalism. U.S. President Donald Trump earlier at the White House said that today we're here to honor and remember a fearless warrior for liberty, beloved leader who galvanized the next generation like nobody I've ever seen before, an American patriot on the deepest conviction, the late, great Charlie Kirk. That was from yesterday. It was his birthday, and it was a day of remembrance for him. Israeli authorities are investigating whether one of the 4 bodies returned by Hamas last night does not belong to a hostage. 3 of the bodies have been confirmed as those of Uriel Baruch, Tamir Nimrodi, and Eitan Levy. 4th is yet to be identified. 600 aid trucks will enter Gaza today with the reopening of the Rafah crossing. U.S. Secretary of War Chief arrived minutes ago in Brussels. Ukraine and European security as his agenda. Hegseth arrived in Brussels with the other ministers, meeting in the Ukraine Defense Contact Group session known as Ramstein. Upon arrival, called on NATO allies to allocate more funds to purchase American-made weapons for Ukraine under the PURL program. Until now, Hegseth had only joined Ramstein meetings online. Finland has already confirmed its participation. Defense Minister Antti Hakanen announced the decision, but did not specify the amount. According to Ukrainian officials, 7 more NATO countries are expected to join PURL today. Earlier, President Volodymyr Zelensky criticized European partners for halting contributions to the program. There are reports of Pakistani Air Force airstrikes on the Afghan capital of Kabul. That's going sideways. President Trump will hold a major press conference with FBI Director Kash Patel today. Spotify has banned Nick Fuentes' podcast after it soared to #1 on the charts only days after being added to the platform. New York health officials report the state's first locally transmitted case of the chikungunya virus. David Ellison, the son of Oracle founder Larry Ellison, is preparing to submit an official merger proposal to acquire Warner Brothers, HBO, and CNN. They just purchased TikTok and are basically trying to get every kind of a mass media information sphere on there so they can get control of the narrative after, of course, things in the Middle East are making it a very negative look for a certain country with a flag that is blue and white. Germany is now at the mercy of cold weather. Filling levels of German gas storage facilities are 76%, which is extremely low. Last year, it was 98.3% at this time. If winter is cold, Germans will spend the heating season under blankets. Donald Trump has urged Argentines to vote for Javier Milei, who's allegedly done many good things for the country, which, I mean, a lot of people think he has. He's getting their economy out. After Milei came to power, Argentina has fallen to an even deep... This guy hates Milei, and so everything he says is going to be negative. If you've actually seen some of the numbers, he's clawing back a lot of the socialist programs that have been around for decades and decades. Things don't happen overnight, so this guy is just... It doesn't matter. I mean, it's like TDS. If Milei were to solve cancer, he'd have a problem with it. U.S. Secretary of War Hegseth arrives at NATO Defense Ministers' security meeting in Brussels, announced massive firepower for Ukraine. European Union is considering forcing Chinese companies to hand over key technologies if they wish to operate within the bloc, according to Bloomberg. B-52 bombers are operating over the Caribbean waters just north of Venezuela. Pope Leo XIV has been gifted a white horse named Proton. By the way, if you're contacting me via Proton Mail from some rando email address saying that I'm using your music in your videos, I don't use music in my videos. So you're just going to go straight to the phishing filter and get weeded out. So good luck. Ukraine's M.O.D. Denis Shmyhal asks NATO partners to dedicate no less than 0.25% of their GDP to military support for Ukraine to pay half of Ukraine's $120 billion defense bill in 2026. OpenAI CEO announced today that they will soon allow verified adults to use ChatGPT to generate erotic content. AI bubble is getting so close to bursting that they need to resort to letting people create smut to justify the trillions of USD companies thrown at OpenAI and their data centers. I think there's other more nefarious things going on under the surface, to be honest. U.S. car loan debt has hit record levels. A growing number of Americans own or owe more on their cars than they're worth. In third quarter, 28.1% of trade-ins had negative equity, the highest level since first quarter 2021. Average upside-down loan of $6,905. Nearly a quarter of these trade-ins carried over $10,000 in debt, signaling rising financial strain. We are one of those people because we had to put a $7,500 new engine in because Volvo sucks. Spotify, Netflix signed deal to stream video podcasts. Pakistan has agreed to a 48-hour ceasefire starting 6 p.m. Pakistani time as the Taliban regime request. California Governor Gavin Newsom is uncontrollably stuttering and repeating interesting when he was asked about the letter A, backpack. You are the first one to bring them up in years, he said. The letter A, backpack. United Kingdom has sanctioned the Russian oil companies Lukoil and Rosneft along with 51 Shadow Fleet tankers allegedly tied to Russia. The UK has described them as strongest sanctions yet. And U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the United States is ready to impose sanctions on China for purchasing Russian oil in the event that European nations follow suit. 5 days ago, U.S. imposed sanctions on about 100 individuals, entities, and vessels, including a Chinese independent refinery and terminal for purchasing Iranian oil. That is your Crisis Report Alert for October 15th, 2025. We're brought to you by Augusta Precious Metals. Thanks so much for being here. Check out the earlier video if you didn't see it. God bless you all, and we'll see you on the next one.